One of my favourite experiences on the boat has been going over aqueducts. It's it's water over water, or sometimes a road. And I may have only been over two so far, and only one that's water above water, but I still just find them so exhilarating. This one here, the Iron Trunk, is the only one that we've crossed that's over a river, and despite seeming like quite critical infrastructure for the canal to operate, the canal actually predates it. Prior to the viaduct's opening, the canal route ran parallel to this newer embankment the viaduct takes advantage of, and descended 4 locks either side to get to the river's level. You can still see the remains of one of them beside the embankment amongst all these shrubs. They would then come flowing from behind me into this, the flowing river, the River Great Ouse. This is the 4th longest river in the country. But to here, to the trunk, wasn't the original course. The original course extended behind me, and the boats would flow off into that along here and around to there. This would have all been water over 200 years ago, as the river made a meander just right where they wanted to build the canal. And then along here, back up another 4 locks, still paralleling the newer embankment. And then finally to a 5th, still active lock here at the southern end of Cosgrove. To build the first aqueduct, they straightened the river at this point to the course it now still follows. Because the river was the border between 2 counties, Buckinghamshire and Northamptonshire, where I'm standing right now, in between where the river used to go and now goes, this used to be Buckinghamshire. But unlike most of the world when a river changes course, they swapped around the counties as well. So this is now Northamptonshire. They kept the rule of the river, that everything north was Northamptonshire and south was Buckinghamshire, instead of Buckinghamshire putting their foot down and demanding they kept this little useless scrub of land. And through here, through all these trees, is exactly the same, but on the eastern end of the canal. This is where the river used to run, and just behind the tree there connects up to where they didn't change the riverbed. And in 1805, the first aqueduct over the River Great Ouse was open, meaning that minus the Blisworth Tunnel, the Grand Junction, as it was called then, was complete. Until 1808, when the viaduct fell down. Because of this, the old locks had to be redeployed. But because by this point, they had redirected the river on this new course, but of course, no viaduct, they couldn't follow the river for this tiny section going north of here. They had to cross it at a right angle to the flow, which not only was pretty dangerous, but also meant lots of water that was inside the canal was flowing into the river. And this is the river on a low day. Just before Christmas, the whole entire valley was flooded, and this river was a lot higher. And on those times when it would burst its banks, it was impossible to cross. So it was paramount that something like this be rebuilt, and soon. Nevertheless, work began straight away for a more robust replacement aqueduct by a team led by engineer William Jessup. And come 1811, the far sturdier Iron Trunk opened. And after 212 years, it's still standing firmly in position today. And while this marvel behind me didn't spend long in the limelight, only about 30 to 40 years, because over there, a much faster railway, the West Coast Main Line, was built, it's still a bloody marvel. And the amount of work, not just the engineers to design it, but all the labourers building not just the Iron Trunk itself, but putting it into place and building these embankments either side. as I said, these extend the whole way of it going down and then back up. This is probably 2 to 3 kilometers, and it's still all functioning today. It's an absolute marvel of civil engineering. Something that just once again shows you the complex ingenuity of the British and the human mind. It's fascinating. Anyway, I have been Jack the Intrepid train/boat traveller, and I will see you in the next one.